Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the tortoise meets the hare as Margougou playing as the slow Sicilians takes on MbL playing as the quick Cumans. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try miss the sheep to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Why don't we take a look at the civilizations we'll be watching today? Now the Sicilians are a civilization whose strength derives from their static defensive structures. Sicilians, if you take a look at the top left of your screen, do start the game with 100 extra stone, which is fantastic for them because they build town centers twice as fast as normal and castles 50% faster than normal. Now, starting in feudal, Sicilians can also build a unique structure, the donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that gains HP and armor as the game progresses, and starting in Castle Age does fire multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Now, donjons, much like their sister structure, the Bulgarian Krepost, can also be used to train the unique unit of the Sicilians, the Sergeant. This is a medium infantry unit with great base armor whose HP actually increases in Castle Age and is one of the only two unique units to be trained in Feudal. By the way, you can use those very same Sergeants to build and repair those very same donjons that train them. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepost, the donjon can also train spearman line units and can also be used as the prerequisite building to build a stable or an archery range, which basically means the Sicilians can just skip the barracks altogether, although not too sure why you would want to do that. But by far the coolest feature of the Sicilians, if I can say coolest, is their ability to call a first crusade, where each town center spawns 5 sergeants up to a maximum of 5 town centers, so 25 extra military units. Now, speaking of those military units to help protect them because they are pretty damn slow, Sicilian knights and cavaliers can be upgraded to get extra armor. All Sicilian infantry, cavalry, and archer units take less bonus damage, and all Sicilian units can be upgraded to become more resistant to conversion. Now, to feed a big, hungry military, the Sicilians do have the best farms in the game. Whenever you research a farm, upgrade it more than doubles the amount of food added to your farm. So essentially, a fully upgraded Sicilian farm comes with over 1,000 food. Now, pivoting our eye to the top right, not top left, top right of our screen, we see the Cumans in blue, played by MbL, an incredibly fast civilization with a few cool features in the game. To start with, all Cuman mounted units move progressively faster as the game goes on, all the way up to 15% faster in Imperial, and some of these mounted units can be upgraded to train in half the time. Now, if you want to put some fast early game pressure on your opponent, you can actually build a siege workshop in Feudal, although you are limited to building only rams. If instead you want to pressure your opponent with perhaps ranged or mounted units, human archery ranges and stables both only cost 100 wood, so you can build more of them earlier on. Now, if you want to forget about the military pressure, you want to build a big old booming economy, the Cumans can also build a second town center in Feudal Age, although remember, doing this does take time, resources, and pulls villagers off the production line. Now, once you've got your economy up and running, you can protect it. However, like the Goths, the Cumans don't get stone walls, but unlike the Goths, Cuman palisades come with 33% more HP. And once you've established your settlement, you've got your first castle up, you can begin training your unique unit, the Kipchak. This is a fast mounted archer unit that fires multiple arrows, although only the first one does full damage. So we've got a battle of a very interesting matchup civs here. Like I said, one plodding and slow, whose defensive structures have become quite offensively used. How many times have we seen a Sicilian rush forward with donjons, with towers, with castles, with even town centers, seeing how fast they build those? On the other hand, you've got a civilization that can pretty much outmaneuver almost every other civ in the game on the battlefield. And speaking of the battlefield, let's take a look at the map, because I'm looking at this map and it is incredibly open. Let's actually take a look and dive right in. The Cumans, their primary gold right in the back, MbL's primary stone a little bit to the side, but kind of exposed on the whole. He's got additional gold to the right, additional gold to the left, and additional stone to the bottom right of his base. His lemon bush is my favorite in the game with the pretty blue butterflies, is very exposed to the front, although it looks like he's already got, as I highlighted earlier, a bit of a wall off already, starting with this dead tree providing a little bit of backup. We'll see how well he can defend this, if he even has to, or whether he's the one who will be putting on the aggression. He's going to hit Feudal about 1 or 2 seconds ahead of his opponent. He's got forests. They're very far away from his town center. And just look at this map. I mean, open. Open is an understatement. The forward position of his base, if I can zoom out. I mean, he's got this forest here kind of carving it to the left and to the right. But it's, on the whole, pretty damn open. Hits Feudal, gets a bunch of economic upgrades, gets his lumberjacks better, his farm's a little juicier. Margougou, on the other hand, his forward position is completely open as he walls himself in against this Cuman exploration. Let's take a look at where his resources are. Primary gold, nice and secure in the back. Primary stone, very exposed, annoyingly placed next to a hill. So he's going to want to take that hill. Otherwise, it's going to fall into the hands of the Cumans. And then you do not want that to happen. He's got also a few forests to the left, one to the right. Also pretty damn far in the base, also pretty damn open. Unfortunately for Margougou, both his primary, secondary and tertiary gold rather are very much exposed to the front, although a little bit of additional stone to the left here, off the beaten path. That being said, MbL's discovered it. So MbL now knows where both stone piles are, and for the Sicilians, location of stone is very much important. Unless we're going to see some kind of other meta that I'm not predicting. Like you guys know, I absolutely hate predicting the direction a game will go. That being said, generally there are things you can say, okay, the Sicilian most likely will try to put down a donjon, because why the hell not? It does cost a bunch of stone compared to a barracks, but, you know, it does come with its benefits. That being said, we'll see if he places it and where he places it, because the Cuman is not giving him a moment's rest right now. He is circling around with these cavalry units. Now, the Cumans really need to get to the later stages of the game for their speed bonus to kick in. They don't come with husbandry, because otherwise that would just make their units 25% faster, their mounted units rather, 25% faster in Imperial, which would just be unfair. Oh, Lion joins in. Who's he going to attack? Oh, no. Oh, no. Our Sicilian might take this just by virtue of the Lion joining in, but then the Lion might kill the... Oh my god, is the Lion going to kill the Red Spearman? That was amazing. The first kill of the game. Who did it go to? It went to the Lion. The first kill of the game goes to the Nature. Not the Nature. It goes to Nature. As the Lion now chases this Spearman, will he get a second kill, or will the Skirmishers take him down? Oh my god! What the hell are we watching here? What is this? The Sabo man killers? What is happening here? MbL uses this opportunity to say, hey, wait a second. I think I just saw a Lion kill one of your spearmen, which means you are now very much exposed. So why don't you just get the hell away from the forward portion of my base? And does exactly that, although his scout's not really getting any kills. But never say never. If you can't kill a unit, wounding it is also not a bad idea. This skirmisher has 10 HP. This skirmisher has 4, so they're going to be pretty good at the start of a battle, but as the battle progresses, they're going to be pretty damn shitty. MbL tries to poke through the front, is now denied himself. Villagers trying to wall this in. Behind this, our Cuman has used his Feudal Age feature to put up a second town center. He is now 4 villagers ahead, and he's building a bit of a funnel over here. I don't mind this location at all, by the way, going for the stone as opposed to the gold. The gold here would basically render that town center primarily gold and food intensive, as opposed to this one over here, which does add a bit of lumberjacking. Looks like MbL lost the scout here. This spearman most likely. Yep. Not a Lion this time, but man, what an absolute crazy opening volley of the game, with not only a big double kill for a Lion, but also MbL using that opportunity to move in and snipe the last remaining spearman. Unfortunately for him, there were reinforcements on the way, which kind of stopped his attack. And let's see what he's doing now. He's ahead 7 villagers now, but his army count is a little bit below half of his opponent. Now a little bit more than half. He's training scouts. He's training skirmishers. Straining. No, he's not straining skirmishers. He is training skirmishers. Might be straining some pasta later on. That might not be a bad idea for dinner, but that is neither here nor there. As a tower goes up, we'll be able to zone out a few of these spearmen, I want to say. Maybe not all 3, but definitely 2. Scout just hanging out in the front here. And that's it. Our Sicilian is no longer putting on the pressure. He sold his stone. He is going up to castle. So for all that I talked about the donjons, he places it in a very defensive position. I wonder why here. Why on the lower ground? Why not here on the higher ground next to the market? But he's not done. 8 villagers on stone. Okay, so our Sicilian's planning something with either castles or donjons, or maybe he just wants to boom economically, get up to 5 town centers, call that first crusade, and just show up at MbL's base with 25 extra sergeants. MbL firmly in Feudal Age. He does not know what's about to hit him. He must have seen the score for his opponent drop, which indicates that he is going up to the next age, or at least has spent a whole bunch of resources. Sergeants are moving out. Like I said, this really is the tortoise meets the hare. Look at the speed on this unit, 0.9. I mean, the spearmen move faster. I'm trying to click on one. I believe it's 1.96 movement for the skirmisher. Scouts definitely move faster. Take a pretty good fight here. Only 1 scout for 3 spearmen is not bad. And all of a sudden, the Sicilian army, pretty damn exposed. That being said, the donjon, he's got, just needs a bit more stone, but 3 sergeants are building. And how cool is this to see a unit other than a villager with a hammer in their hand, hammering it? He's also getting a slew of mining upgrades right as MbL returns to the front lines after slaughtering a whole bunch of skirmishers. And our Cuman is housed. MbL has struggled with this recently, I think, with housing. Has he caught wind of this donjon? No, he hasn't. There's a few villagers moving forward. What are they for, I wonder? Now he's going to notice that there's a donjon here, right, being dropped in his base. It is for a siege workshop. Amazing reaction time at Margougou here. Sees these scouts, immediately walls in his villagers. He does not want to risk any of this stone mining. Might want to get back to work for these two. Another. Okay, so we're going to see a donjon push. So he waited until Castle Age, so I guess he could back it up with the siege workshop. Plus, it's like I said, it's tankier. It's better in Castle Age versus Feudal. MbL, who almost lost some of these scouts as he moves forward with his army. So both players biting into each other. No one taking any big chunks just yet. That being said, army count for our Cuman 50% higher, villager count 50% higher. He is total 25% population higher than his opponent. So Margougou's got to be careful here. If MbL can keep the lead alive and keep moving forward with this lead, he is just going to completely outpace his opponent. That being said, the sergeants building attack bonus +2 at the moment. MbL will be in Castle Age soon. It looks like the mangonel is probably going to go for the tower. Yeah, it goes for the tower. Why the hell not? So the villagers serving a dual purpose of plopping down a siege workshop, repairing the mangonel. MbL loses another scout to this donjon. No, maybe to the spearman? Either the spearman or the donjon. One of those. Oh, it looks like I missynchronized attacks. Looks like the Cuman tower is down 1/3 of its HP already. I wonder why these sergeants are so scared to engage underneath a tower. I mean, the tower attacks on a 6. You've got 5 armor. This unit is so ridiculously tanky, and he's got 460 stone, and he just lost a bunch of stone, which means we're seeing another donjon. The sergeant is not exactly a unit that needs to be afraid of towers at the moment. Another donjon. There is a very warm Sicilian embrace happening, but look at MbL. He says enough is enough. He brings about 20 villagers, finishes his castle, and now he's got Bodkin. He's getting padded archer armor, so he is going ranged. Okay, for now he's got a bunch of skirmishers. Where are his skirmishers? Okay, so they came home. Looks like they killed a lion of their own. And now his villagers are moving out. He has 133 wood, not even enough yet to build a lumber camp, although right as I finished saying that, sorry, he had less than 133 when I clicked on those villagers. But castle versus donjon is going to be very bad for Margougou. So he's got to press in here, and he's got to press ASAP. He's got to build more and more donjons. He's got to position them perfectly for now, these sergeants, I mean, look how little damage they're taking from anything. And we're seeing Kipchaks? Okay. Now, Kipchak, not exactly a unit you see very frequently in the higher level games. But I'm not going to say no to a Kipchak. It's basically a Chukanu on a horse. Look at this. Margougou, is he going for the high ground? He's going for the high ground. Oh, MbL doesn't notice. He is going to get absolutely slaughtered here. And he does. The sergeants are just so freaking tanky. At the same time, they're building more synchronized construction, but a 6th, 7th one joins in and screws up the synchronicity. Oh, no, that sucks. Skirmishers trying their darndest to tickle away at the HP here. Kipchaks join the fight. What are their upgrades? We know he has Bodkin. We know he has padded archer armor, but that is basically it for now. Another castle, but this one right underneath a donjon. MbL. Oh my goodness. What a interesting move here out of him. Suspecting that he can hold this push, pushing in with his military, getting the donjon to attack these units as opposed to the villagers. Not bad at all. Unfortunately, his tower does end up falling. If that, I think that was a tower. I mean, MbL just absolutely using his economic lead to take all of these villagers off the production line, and now he's using them to even attack the donjon. So he is cleaning up this Sicilian push, but there are still bands of donjons and bands of sergeants roaming around the map here. I don't know what the hell that was. Oh, he didn't even cancel it, Margougou. And look at that. I'm going to zoom out. Our Cuman has held with a combination of towers, castles, and yes, villagers. Blocks off this path to the north. He does not want any kind of run-bys, although, I mean, the words run-bys and Sicilians, not exactly things you know, not exactly things that go together. Not the quickest of civilizations. Now, speaking of quick civilizations, this freaking Kipchak is going to be able to run circles around these sergeants. The problem for the Kipchaks is, again, they attack on a 6, and the sergeant's got 5 armor, which means he needs 75 Kipchaks to one-shot a single sergeant of the Sicilians. I freaking love synchronized attack. Let me know in the comments if you like them too, or if I'm just an absolute fanboy here. Looks like those Kipchaks are on a mission to do a little bit of backstabbing. Our Sicilian base, by the way, completely open. He's going up to a 4th town center, though. So a possible crusade en route. Another, he is not done. Both of these players just tearing into each other at the moment. The kill count really isn't that high at the 30-minute mark of the game. 31 kills for one, 23 kills for the other. Our Sicilian, by the way, has killed 12 villagers to none. I suspect that's about to change with these Kipchaks here. But holy moly, is there a lot of action for such a low kill count game. Has he gotten a single kill? No, that's either a single villager. There it is. There's finally the first villager kill for the Cuman, who now, okay, attacks a house. He's got to be careful. There are a lot of circles of death. Now, luckily for him, he just needs to run real quick by these few tiles, which will take a few seconds, but a scorpion comes out. Where the hell did you come from? Where did the scorpion come from? Doesn't really matter. It lives for about 5 seconds and then dies. These Kipchaks, did they get more than that one villager? No, they're still stuck on that one villager kill. Looks like there has been a second kill. Our Cuman base is lighting up like a Christmas tree right now. And what are you? You are another band of Kipchaks getting a whole bunch of kills here. He wants to produce, construct a defensive siege workshop. Oh man, Margougou is not reacting at all. That being said, he's now down only 15 villagers, and total population, he's down to, about 30% as opposed to the 50 that he was down before. Kipchak's not really doing much over here. Possibly creating another avenue of attack. He says, you know what, forget that siege workshop up here. I'm just going to place it right in the center of my base. And let's zoom out and see what the hell is going on in the Cuman base. Additional sources of food, university. Look at all these lumberjacks. I mean, this is just about as inefficient as you can be with your lumberjacks. But I don't think MbL is going to keep those guys on lumber very long. Most likely they will move to food, and that's why we're seeing a whole bunch of mills being put down. Kipjack dies to the Donjon. The Donjon, this one has 5 kills, and he is not done. Holy moly, our Sicilian, he just wants to keep on going. He doesn't care that there's literally a dozen Kipjacks sitting inside of his base. MbL is not microing them. Okay, right as I say that, I see the mini-map. They both start moving. Looks like they're under attack by a Scorpion. Oh, if he doesn't notice this might be bad news bears for MbL's. Kipjack's here. 2 Scorpions move out. Okay, he finally notices, but that means he's not microing over here. But does he care? He's taken down 1 full Donjon. He's taken down the Donjon under construction. He took down those sergeants. And all of a sudden, look at the freaking numbers. MbL has lost a bunch of villagers, but he's still 5 villagers ahead. But more importantly, look at that army count. 39-6 as he takes down yet another Donjon. Kipjacks, the same 4 kills, or maybe not, that we saw before. It looks like he got another villager with them. These guys now a bit on sabbatical as they just hang out over here. Is this open? No, it's not yet open, but this is a pretty clumped group of villagers here. Okay, might want to get ballistics. Okay, I think he realizes, having killed literally 1 villager out of all of that he needs ballistics. But the Donjons are still here. They're not stopping. Somebody build a ram. Doesn't really matter. The sergeant gets 2 swipes off. And look at the amount of arrows that are needed to kill a freaking sergeant. Also, I think I was wrong in my calculation about 75 Kipjacks needed to kill 1 sergeant. I wasn't factoring in their secondary arrows, which now have ballistics, but it looks like the Scorpion did a good job here getting a few of these Kipjacks. What's their kill count at now? 11. 8 villager kills. Even more Kipjacks are moving in. And it kind of looks like our Cuman is safe. It looks like he's pushed back the Donjon push to the east. To the west, though, there are still 3 Donjons. But look at this. Margougou has abandoned this position. I don't see a single villager. I don't see a single sergeant. Is he even training sergeants? No, no, no. Oh, he is very much worried about the counterattack back home. And for the first time in the game, though, Margougou does have more villagers than our Cuman. But again, he's down literally 30 army count. That is just bonko. He does manage to get a castle up, does manage to ensnare a few of these blue Cuman units. And MbL is heading to Imperial. This... okay, I mean, a Mangonel's going to do damage, but it's not going to do critical damage. It's not an onager. Oh, and he finds the sweet spot between a Donjon and a town center. And now the mobility of the Cumans. I mean, in 2.5 minutes, the speed of these guys is going to be faster than a camel, which is just ridiculous. I think second only to a Shravamsha rider, I want to say, or maybe a trade cart with caravanserai support. I suspect the sergeant is going to take this handily. I mean, just the tankiness of this unit is ridiculous. Let's see what's going on in the forward position here. Finally, some rams are out for our Cuman. A villager. Ooh, is he going to hurt this villager with the... Yep. Oh, it never ceases to amaze me. The self-owns. Oh, okay. 1 for 2, though, is pretty damn good. And now the Mangonel has to be careful, because there's no more villagers to help repair it. But 2 battering rams move forward, rather capped rams. And they're going to take down that Donjon pretty damn easily, especially with no murder holes. I mean, even with murder holes, they're going to take him down pretty damn easy. Kill count for these Kipjacks up to 9. Kill count for these guys up to 18. Margougou 15 villagers ahead, but now he's still down about 30 army count. 27 is pretty bad. And in 30 seconds, he's going to discover that his opponent's an Imperial. And as much as I would have loved to see an Imperial Age Sicilian versus an Imperial Age Cuman, I don't know that he's going to stick around that long. He doesn't have any food, and he is being raided to hell and back. And let's see what he does. MbL's an Imperial. Okay. Sometimes I do manage to call it right. Unfortunately, again, I really do wish we would have seen two Imperial Age civs here. One incredibly powerful and tanky, one incredibly mobile and just lightning fast. By the way, look at this speed. 1.62. A camel, I believe, is 1.6. The knight, let's see the knight, fastest paladins in the game, 1.56. But here is the most ridiculous thing. Are you ready? I'm going to click on the light cavalry of the Cumans. Look at this speed. 1.74 tiles. I think only a Shrivamsha rider is faster than this in terms of military units. I mean, obviously the trade carts with Caravanserai move at 1.8, and I think that makes them the fastest unit in the game. But the light cavalry, 1.74 tiles, is absolutely ridiculous. Again, I don't remember exactly the Shrivamsha, if it's 1.72 or 1.76, but it's one of those, and it doesn't really matter who has the slight little 1 millimeter edge over the other. This speed is just ridiculous, and oh man, did MbL manage to hold. I thought he would be in a little bit of trouble with a second town center. That being said, Margougou could have possibly rushed a little bit earlier. I think the Castle Age push versus the Feudal Age push a Feudal Age push may have punished this second town center a little bit more. The question is, how would have MbL reacted? But that is a hypothetical, doesn't really impact us at all. We are here in the real world where MbL has two defensive castles, a whole bunch of town centers. Well, I shouldn't say a whole bunch. He's got his two original town centers. Okay, decided not to build anymore, going instead for the military production. And man, oh man, is his military production ramping up. He's got 8 times the army count of his opponent, even though now for the last few minutes he has been down in economy. I mean, our Sicilian has a good defense here. This Donjon would have probably been better placed here. Who's kidding who? That being said, it does manage to zone out a few of these Kipchaks for a little bit, but there's also Kipchaks to the south fighting these Scorpions, and there's also, it looks like, a body of Kipchaks to the north. So he is literally everywhere, is MbL, with these lightning fast Cuman units. And our Sicilian has built, like I said, their strength comes from their static defensive structures, their town centers, their donjons, their castles. They can train sergeants, they can zone out archer units like these guys, and they can call a crusade. And at the end of the day, he did have 4 town centers. Did he have the resources for a crusade, by the way? No, he didn't have the food. He just needed 200 more food, and he could have called a crusade. But then again, what do you do with a crusade? You got 20 sergeants all of a sudden. What do you do with them? The Kipchaks will just run away. That being said, the Kipchaks are pretty damn weak against the sergeant, unless maybe they become elite. And MbL going for the armor upgrade, pretty smart, because he wants to raid, and he wants to take as little damage from the static defensive structures of Margougou as possible. But ultimately, the quick rush to Imperial pulls a Hera and takes the W, does our Cuman. Let's take a look at the stats. Only 27? For some reason, I feel like that it should have been in the 40s or 50s even. I feel like there were a lot of sergeants. Maybe that's just because they stick around for so freaking long, and they're so damn tanky that they refuse to die. I mean, look at that base armor. By the way, that jumps to 4 base armor when you upgrade it to the elite version, which would make it a very powerful tool against these weaker Kipchaks. Peak APM right at the beginning of the game for our Sicilian, right in the middle. No, never mind. Towards the end of the game for our Cuman, probably as he was microing no fewer than 1, 2, 3, and then 4 armies here with these rams. I would, for some reason, just keep wanting to say battering rams. And the economy, our Cuman economy, about 20% bigger, even though Margougou did ultimately catch up in villagers a little bit too little, a little bit too late. 1,666, sign of the beast stone count for our Cuman. No wonder, doesn't really need more than those 2 castles. An extra 1,500 or so stone for our Sicilian. This is where he got his donjons from. That being said, everything else, Cuman. More wood, more food, more gold. Let's take a look at the kill count. I'm interested in villager kills. Oh, look at that. MbL ultimately with those Kipchaks did manage to start sniping good portions of the Sicilian economy. But look at the kill count. Again, not a high kill count game, but positioning and just seeing the features of the civilizations is what really, for me, makes it a fun game. And I hope for you guys as well, just because these civs are designed to perform a certain way. Not always the same, because again, the Sicilians, you can go Hauberk, you can, you do have some pretty good options of how you can play this. Their siege is just absolutely bonkers, especially when you're fighting ranged units. Man, oh man, have we seen Sicilian siege take down many a cavalry-based archer. And the Cumans are just incredibly fast. I mean, it literally is the tortoise versus the hare. I'll say it for a third time. And ultimately, unlike the fable, we've got a reverse. Whose fable is it, the tortoise and the hare? Is it an Aesop fable, or does it predate him? In any event, whoever's fable it is, in this particular matchup, the reverse happened, and is actually the hare, the quicker moving Cuman units with their multiple raids across many different parts of the map, who manages to not only hold on fantastically, taking on huge amounts of pressure by units, again, that just refuse to die. 75 HP, 5/5 armor is ridiculous on an infantry unit. And holding against that, MbL managed to push back, managed to not only push back in the front, but as I said, in multiple locations. And with the poking, the prodding, the villager kills, and the quicker Imperial, he just leaves our Sicilian in the dust. And ultimately, our Sicilian taps out, lives to fight another day. MbL takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.